If you're familiar with Hamilton's collections, you'll know that the Jazzmaster line typically has a harmonious blend of modern and retro aesthetics. The 1950s and 60s inspired casings, especially those with a space-age vibe, typically house watches with skeletonized dials and bright colors. The Jazzmaster Face-2-Face III is no exception. Deftly fusing styles from across Hamilton's illustrious history, the case, as we could see, has soft, wide curves with generously beveled edges and sharp transitions at the lugs. But what exactly makes this new release so special? Let's find out, We don't know if you know this, folks, but a truly high-quality statement item on the inexpensive side of the watch market is a difficult thing to achieve. There is no shortage of high-quality stylish watches at affordable rates, but it usually costs quite a bit to make a watch that feels like a mechanical spectacle on the wrist without sacrificing quality. And that's what the Hamilton Jazzmaster is, a prominent exception to this norm. It features a rotating double-sided case with a semi-skeleton design and sells for significantly less than similar pieces of horological theatricality often do. The third version of Hamilton's limited edition Jazzmaster Face-to-Face series combines the brand's trademark minimalist aesthetic with an innovative rotating case technology to produce a distinctive new halo appearance. Amazing, don't you think? The Hamilton Jazzmaster Face-to-Face III has an enormous spinning stainless steel case. The case design, which measures 44mm in diameter and 17.25mm in thickness, makes a bold statement on the wrist while retaining many of the classic elements of the Jazzmaster series. Ignoring its massive proportions because we must, this chronograph looks incredibly well executed because of its long, sweeping lugs and unusual, rounded trapezoidal pushes on either side of a narrow, sloping, polished bezel. You can see the distinctive notched case side design of the Jazzmaster line in these examples as well, with the polished lug chamfers narrowing gradually to a flat upper case side surface. However, the centerpiece of the Jazzmaster Face-to-Face III belies this apparent simplicity. The entire cylindrical middle case pivots along the 3 to 9 o'clock axis, exposing a second sapphire windscreen and a basic chronograph configuration atop the movement rotor. Honestly, this watch has to be the craziest this year. The very simple conventional chronograph design changing its geometry on a whim is undeniably eye-catching. And while the rotating mid-case design is not strictly novel, it is nonetheless uncommon in Hamilton's market sector. But it isn't all excellence on every side. Despite its elaborate casing design, the Jazzmaster Face-to-Face III is only water-resistant to a rather unimpressive 50 meters. The Hamilton Jazzmaster Face-to-Face III, as the name suggests, has two faces, or dials, that can be switched out at will. For the primary dial's semi-skeleton design, Hamilton stays true to the aesthetic of other Jazzmaster chronograph models while adding visual intricacy with striking blue accents. The typical Jazzmaster touches, like the nickel-plated Dauphine handset and the faceted tapered indices, alleviate the three-register chronograph design to a more formal level. Using dynamic details like the radially brushed outer chapter ring that reaches into the middle of the dial at 3 o'clock to generate a stark contrasting plaque, Hamilton undermines this sense of dressiness in photographs. The whole dial-matching date wheel is visible through a cutaway in the dial, which adds drama, and we love drama. And the three subdials each contribute their unique flavour to the overall design. The chronograph minutes subdial at 12 o'clock mirrors the matte black surface of the main dial, but its interior is subtly recessed to create some interesting light effects. The subdial for the seconds, located at 9 o'clock, features a matte blasting effect, a radial brushing pattern, and an azurage hue. Hamilton uses a deep cobalt blue sunburst surface in pictures for the 6 o'clock chronograph hours subdial, reiterating the colour of the primary chronograph seconds hand and drawing the eye down to the dial. While certainly not stripped down, the Jazzmaster Face-2-Face III's primary dial design is subdued enough to mask the watch's avant-garde gimmicks and make it more suited for everyday use. However, the Hamilton Jazzmaster Face-2-Face III's flip side provides a more deconstructed view of the chronograph function. This watch features a skeleton dial in the strictest sense, but its functionality is limited to a central chronograph seconds hand and a set of silver and blue tachymeter and pulsometer rings. The H41 is an automatic chronograph based on the Valjoux 7750, and the rest of the movement is visible through the sapphire case back, where it has been finished to a high aesthetic standard by the manufacturer. Tight, even pearlage is used on the upper bridges, balancing cock and main plate, and special cutout rotor features both linear and sunburst brushing. Although the H41's basis dates back to the 1970s, the watch itself is modern, boasting a 28,800 beats per hour and a 60-hour battery reserve. Hamilton finishes off the timepiece with a mahogany brown leather strap that has been patinated to perfection and features stunning blue contrast stitching. More so, the limited edition Hamilton Jazzmaster Face-2-Face III offers a high degree of horological spectacle at an affordable price. Its design combines iconic Hamilton cues with eye-catching spinning functionality, and its movement and construction are both sturdy and well made. The Hamilton Jazzmaster Face-2-Face III is limited to 999 pieces and is already shipping to retailers. Though it's near to the top of Hamilton's pricing hierarchy at $2,995, as of press time anyway, you're getting a lot of bang for your money with this showpiece timepiece. Now, there's something else we'd like to chip in about this timepiece. Are you familiar with the watch journalist Chris Hall? Well, he recently wrote on-brand product naming on his outstanding Substack, The Fourth Wheel. This is a little unrelated, but Chris has been such an authority online. Anyway, he particularly liked the Breitling Galactic and Jungen's Chronoscope and the Rolex Migaus. And to the surprise of many, he showed some love to the Jazzmaster line. In his words, he said, "In spite of the fact it isn't even the most famous product with this name, that would be the Fender line of guitars, in spite of the fact it has nothing to do with the watch's design or function, in spite of the fact that jazz doesn't make me think of precision timekeeping." Now, we had to mention this because Chris Hall isn't exactly one to throw such praises. So folks, we can see that there is something quite special about this timepiece. As you can imagine, there's some history to the Jazzmaster Face-2-Face III. You know we like history because it reminds us that behind every watch is a story. Anyway, the Switch conglomerate Swatch Group, which also owns Omega, Breguet, Blancpain, Rado, and many others, acquired the American business Hamilton through a sequence of mergers and acquisitions between 1892 and 1969. However, there are a few oddities in this story itself. Elvis Presley wore a Hamilton Ventura in the 1961 film Blue Hawaii, and the plot of 2014's Interstellar on a khaki field Murph, which was partly designed by the film's director Christopher Nolan. Today, Hamilton has more than 500 credits in Hollywood than any other brand. Thriving, we said, thriving. Hamilton has a history of coming up with out-of-the-blue suggestions. Elvis's Ventura, which had a shield-shaped case, was the first battery-powered watch in the world. In 1972, Pulsar made a space-age wrist computer with a red LED display and offered it for £1,700, and it cost more than a gold Rolex at the time. The Jazzmaster Face-2-Face could be considered an outlier. For your information, the Jazzmaster collection is the label's take on contemporary, modern watches, a broad category that includes a variety of automatic dress watches, some of which feature eye-catching details like power reserve indicators or open dials that reveal sections of their movement and typically retail for less than $1,083. The first Jazzmaster Face-to-Face was introduced by the company in 2013, and it was an oddity from the start. It resembled the Millenary line by Audemars Piguet due to its elliptical body and quirky dial. The watch's flip-over case made it noticeable, but it wasn't the only one available. For the same high and un-Hamiltonian price of a little over $4,000, you could have purchased one of the Jazzmaster classic and enduring reversos. In 2016, its successor, the Jazzmaster Face-to-Face, was released. One YouTube reviewer called it borderline ridiculous, a circular wrist puck of a watch, and a wall clock, after realizing that the casing had grown from 44mm to a massive 53mm. But then came Face-to-Face 3, the third model. And where does it go from here exactly? A great innovation in eye-catching timepieces from a company with experience in the field? An outrageous challenge? A third attempt at solving a problem that initially perplexed people 10 years ago? It's a topic of conversation, if nothing else.